Today I'm going to show you how to use a sextant to light a fire. No, we're not doing that. I tell odd and chilling stories from all over the world. If you would like to reach out to me via social media, my name is Mr. Sextant across all platforms, and please comment right here. If you enjoy this video, just come back and watch some more. So here we go. In September of 1987, large city in Brazil, two childhood friends, Roberto and Wagner, they'd go out on the streets that night and they were basically scrappers. They would take scrap from anywhere they could and take it to the scrapyard and make a few bucks. Well, they knew that there was this one building that always had this armed guard. It was partially demolished, and Roberto notices that there's not an armed guard there protecting this old building. So Roberto and Wagner, they're creeping around, trying to see if there's actually a guard there or not. So under the cover of darkness, they creeped around for quite a while, and they decided, well, we got to go in this building to see what's so important that has to be protected by an armed guard. So the two of them proceed into the building, and they see this old big piece of machinery. They have no idea what they're looking at, but they know that they're going to take a part of it. So Roberto and Wagner, they go back to Roberto's house, and they get some tools and a wheelbarrow, and they rush back to the building, before the guard gets there, because they can't be caught in the process of this. So they start disassembling the large portion of this machine, this large casting. They take the bolts out. They managed to get it apart and put it in the wheelbarrow, and they proceeded back to Roberto's house. And there was this kind of a secluded area in Roberto's yard where the neighbors couldn't see under this mango tree. And they start disassembling this large piece of casting, cast iron and stainless steel. As they're hard at work, they're both starting to feel ill. They both started to vomit all over. But, they blew it off because once in a while they'd eat some questionable food, and I guess this was normal for them. So they're back to work, working on this, trying to get this thing disassembled, because they thought they hit the jackpot with this thing. This is going to fetch up quite a bit of money. And they hadn't gotten far disassembling it, so they called it a night. They figured they would come back out in the morning and finish disassembling. The following day, Wagner started to experience dizziness and diarrhea. Undeterred, they were both determined to get this thing apart so they could take it to the scrapyard. So on day 2, they resorted to pry bars and sledgehammers. By day 3, they had succeeded in breaking down most of it. Well, that day, Roberto decided to go to the clinic to check on his lingering food poisoning that he had. The doctor just told him to go home and rest. When Roberto returned home, he was able to pound a screwdriver through one of the small cylinders they had taken apart. And once he punched a hole through it, it exposed this blue material that shimmered and glowed. Roberto was able to shove his screwdriver in there and dig out a little bit of the material. And he thought, boy, we struck it rich. This blue stuff's got to be worth something. So they took it to the scrapyard, not far from Roberto's home, a couple blocks. There, the scrapyard owner, he paid him for it, had 2 of his workers help disassemble the rest of it because Roberto and Wagner weren't able to break it all down. So DeVere, he took the little small cylinder and he put it on a desk in his office. Later in the evening, when it started getting dark, DeVere noticed that there was a blue glow coming from the cylinder, and it was shimmering and glowing. He thought it was a supernatural substance or something very expensive. So he took the cylinder home to show his wife. The following day, DeVere would invite friends and family over to all gaze at this shimmering blue material. It was the size of grains of salt, maybe a little bigger, and it easily was broken into dust. And the way it shimmered and brightly glowed, people just couldn't keep their hands off of it. They thought it was amazing. So DeVere's brother took some home to his wife and daughter, and he sprinkled it on the ground and let his daughter play in it. Some other DeVere's friends and family also took some home to show their families. On September 21st, DeVere's wife started to become ill. Well, that same day, DeVere took that cylinder with the remaining substance and sold it to another scrapyard, presumably for a substantial profit. After DeVere's family and friends, almost all of them that came in contact with the substance, all started to feel ill. When DeVere's wife connected the dots, she went to the scrapyard where DeVere sold the cylinder and talked that scrap owner into selling it back to her. She immediately took it to the local hospital and told the doctor, "I believe this material is killing my family." The doctor that received the material didn't really heed the warning, didn't take her real seriously, and he took the cylinder and put it in the corner of his office. The next day, the doctor thought about what the woman had told him and stopped at his colleague's office and borrowed a Geiger counter. When he got back to his office, the meter pegged in every direction he pointed it, so he assumed the meter was malfunctioning. He took it back to his colleague's office, got another meter, and then he tested it in his colleague's office and determined it was working properly. When he got back to his own office, the meter immediately pegged again. So he immediately called the authorities. It turns out the machine that Wagner and Roberto disassembled was a radiotherapy device designed for treating cancer patients. And the reason why it was protected by an armed guard was that the authorities knew that there was radioactive material on the site located in one of the pieces of machinery. The shimmering blue material was 3.3 ounces of cesium-137, cesium chloride salt. This is a highly radioactive substance that cranks out 4.5 grays of radioactivity per hour. A lethal dose is considered about 5 grays per hour. So if you were to spend a little over an hour with this material, that would probably be just about it for you. This ordeal quickly became a terrible situation for everyone involved. Roberto had to have a finger amputated. His house was bulldozed because of the contamination. Wagner had to have his right arm amputated. His house was also bulldozed. DeVere lost his wife, his niece, his scrapyard. His house was bulldozed. 2 of his employees died from handling the thing. DeVere's brother's house was also bulldozed. All in all, Guyana accident contaminated 249 people with radiation, killed 4. It's amazing that more weren't severely injured or killed. If you like this story, please buy the like button a puppy. I'm going to upload as many videos as I can each week. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on all notifications. I appreciate your support. Take care, guys.